All right, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and citations to all the Akim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, in truth and sincerity. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, Barakatham to you all. All right, so what I'll be entitling this lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is Mass Death, the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Okay, and pretty much this lesson is going to go into the destruction that's coming. All right, when Yahweh Shai comes back with the holy angels, okay, in the chariots to execute judgment upon the earth, okay, which will also coincide with thermonuclear destruction, okay, taking place here in Babylon and in various parts of the earth. World War III and mass death blanketing the planet Earth. Okay, all right. A lot of people in the world have the misconception that the day of the Lord is, going to be, light and good, and the Lord's coming back to bring, peace, and love, and it's going to be all dandelions and fucking daisies or some shit. When that's not the case, Now, granted, the scriptures do say, all right, that the Lord will judge among the nations and rebuke many people, and they shall beat their plowshares into swords, or their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Okay, so after the destruction, yes, it's going to be eternal peace on earth. Okay, it's not going to be any more wars and fightings. Okay, and nations gearing up to fight wars against one another. Okay, but before that, the day of the Lord is going to be darkness. It's going to be gloominess. It's going to be death, mass death. Okay, fire. All right, and as the scriptures say, the slain of the Lord shall be from one end of the earth to the other, man. Okay, all right. So the Lord's coming back to wreck shop, man. Okay, the scriptures say that the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Okay, all right. We already know that Babylon is going to be destroyed utterly. All right, it's going to be smoke and soot in the atmosphere, man. The abundance of the chariots alone is going to blot out the sky. Okay, but even with that, on top of that, you're going to have a smoke in the atmosphere and debris, okay, from the nuclear destruction. Okay, the earth is going to shake. All right, the waves of the sea will be troubled. Okay, it's going to be so bad that the elites, all right, they already have their plans and their agenda, and they already have their bunkers ready to go hide, okay, underground and in the mountains, okay, and under the ocean, okay, and they're going to say, to the rocks and to the mountains, fall on us and hide us from the face of, of him that sitteth upon the throne, and from the and from the wrath of the Lamb. Okay, all right, and we're gonna have to be delivered from that, man. The destruction is gonna be so bad. Okay, like the scriptures say, come my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were a little moment till the indignation be overpassed, man. Okay, so the Lord's gonna have to take us into the chariots, man, which those are those chambers, man, that the scripture is talking about in Isaiah. Okay, all right, we're gonna have to be caught up into the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, man. We're gonna have to be in outer space, man. Okay, looking upon the sea of glass mingled with fire, man, to escape this great destruction and this great judgment, man. Okay, all right, because the Lord's coming back to jack it up, man, to really shake it up, man. Okay, all right, and then shall the heathen know and all the people of the earth know that it's Yahweh that reigns over the earth, man. Okay, and he has set up his son Yahweh Shai, okay, and the elect of the nation of Israel, beginning with the 144,000 prophets, the men, the priests, okay, to rule and to govern the earth, man. Okay, all right, and so with all of that being said, I'm going to start with Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14. And Lord willing, this video is edifying because I got precepts lined up, to help illustrate the point, and to just get the picture across as vividly as possible. Okay, because we think in pictures. Okay, all right, we understand things in pictures, man. So the scriptures help us along the way in that particular avenue. Okay, as far as being able to really envision the scriptures, which the apostles go into that often. Okay, Apostle Gabar comes to my mind specifically, when he goes into being able to envision, the scriptures, envision what it is that you're reading. Okay, So with that being said, Zephaniah chapter 1 and 14 is where I will begin, and Lord willing, this video is edifying. Okay, it says, the great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Okay, all right. So first of all right, it says the great day of the Lord, it is near, and it hasteth greatly. Okay, all right. So you got our people in the world. Oh, I done heard that so many times. They've been saying the Lord gonna come back, and blah blah blah, right? Not in my lifetime, and all those different excuses, right? Okay, but the scriptures cut that. All right, the scriptures say that it is near and hasteth greatly. Okay, all right, meaning that it's coming fast. Okay, and it says, even the voice of the day of the Lord, and the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Okay, which we know the voice of the Lord is his prophets. He has the prophets out there, okay, preaching the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, prophesying of the return of Yahweh Shai, okay, to visit the earth, man. And it says, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Okay, the mighty man. Okay, these military officers, these strong men, these warriors of the different nations, they're going to cry there bitterly. Okay. All right, they're going to weep and howl and mourn, okay, tears, scream, okay, for dear life, okay, all right. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, okay, a day of trouble and distress, okay, all right, not a day of, God loves everybody, okay. All right, not a day of the Lord's coming back to save everyone. No, a day of trouble and distress, right? A day of darkness. Salaki, it says a day of wastiness and desolation. A day of wastiness and desolation, okay? Which I want to look up the word I want to look up those two words, wastiness and desolation, okay? I'll do that right now on a different device. A day of wastiness and desolation. First, Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 15. Lord willing, it comes up. Okay, a day of wastiness. Okay. All right, wastiness in the Hebrew Strong's H7722. Okay. All right, it's Shawah. Okay, ravage, devastation, ruin, waste, devastation, ruin, waste of land. Okay, so it's going to be a devastation. All right, a day of ruin, a day of wastiness. All right, so now what is the word desolation? Okay, in the Hebrew Strong's H4875, right? Right, and it says Mashawa'ah, okay, desolation, ruin, okay, all right. It says concretely the wreck, okay, to ruin, to wreck, all right, waste places, all right. So it's going to be a destruction, okay, a desolation, a ruin, a devastation. It's going to be a devastating day, all right. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Okay, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Okay, all right, which we know the Lord's coming back with clouds, with his chariots as a whirlwind. Okay, to render his anger with fury, his rebuke with flames of fire. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so be true. Okay, all right. So the clouds represent what? The chariots of the Lord, so-called UFOs that are gonna blot out the sky. They're gonna actually flood the atmosphere, man. Okay, they're going to be everywhere. Okay, all right, but you also have the destruction from the missiles, from the detonation of the nuclear missiles. That's what going to cause debris to go up into the atmosphere. Okay, and cause what a nuclear shroud of debris. All right, to blot out the sky as well. Okay, so a day of clouds and thick darkness. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers, man. Okay, a day of trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high tower. So the places of refuge, these strongholds, these superpowers, these great nations, Babylon specifically, okay, all right, comes to mind, but also these other various places on the earth, okay, that people and governments, that people and cities that these people take refuge in, right? it says it's going to be a day of trumpet and alarm against those fenced cities. Okay, so it's not going to be a day of safety. It's not going to be anywhere to run and hide. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Okay, so mass death everywhere. Okay, dead bodies everywhere. Okay, it's going to be so much distress that people are going to lose their minds. Okay, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which shall come upon the earth, for the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. Okay, all right. So death everywhere, dead bodies everywhere. Okay, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. Okay, now you got these nations stockpiling silver and gold, precious metals. Okay, all right, in order to have some type of resources, because they believe that they're going to be able to bounce back after this third world war. Okay, all right, to try to give themselves some type of economic stability. All right, but also the silver and the gold also goes into what? The idols. Okay, the idols, their gods of silver and gold, shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Okay, all right, so the Lord is going to come with wrath, and he's going to devour the land. Okay, by the fire of his jealousy, the land. Okay, the lake of fire shall be on earth, specifically Babylon the Great. Okay, all right, because that's the land that's going to be utterly destroyed and utterly wasted. All right, now I do have a few other precepts I wanted to jump to, because I did quote that Isaiah 24. I didn't have that on paper written down, but it's a precept that comes to my mind. What is that? Is that Isaiah 24? No, it's not Isaiah 24. It's Isaiah 26 and 20 that I quoted earlier. It's a precept that comes to mind, and I feel like helps illustrate the point vividly. Okay. Or more vividly. This is Isaiah 26 and 20. It says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself. Hide thyself." Okay, we need to be hidden from the destruction. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. Okay, the indignation, the wrath, the vexation, the righteous anger of the Lord. Okay, until that be overpassed. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. All right, for their iniquity, man. And that's what that's what the earth needs. The earth needs chastisement, okay, judgment for the wickedness of the earth, man. Okay, all right, because the rulers of the earth destroy the earth. All right, these people aren't eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, which destroys the earth. Okay, worshiping idols, spreading witchcraft, homosexuality, feminism, idolatry, and the list goes on and on. Okay, so the earth, the inhabitants of the earth need to be punished for their iniquity. The Lord cometh out of his place. All right, he's coming out of the third heaven. All right, to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. So blood everywhere, death everywhere, dead corpses everywhere. Okay, everywhere, man. All right, and the destruction and the wrath that the Lord is coming with, okay, is going to be so terrible. All right, even the pride of Esau shall be brought low. Okay, the Esau is the proudest. He opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God and that is worshipped, as it says in 2 Thessalonians, right? But even they are going to seek to run and hide from the wrath of the Lord. Okay, with all their wealth and might and power that they have amassed and has been given to them by the Lord. Okay, they're going to seek to try to escape. All right, and hide themselves from the destruction. This is Revelation 6 and 12. "And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. Okay, what is this describing? The nuclear missile destruction, the detonation of the nuclear missiles. Okay, all right, when they detonate, the debris, the destruction, the calamity, the ashes, the smoke that they cast into the air shall blot out the sun and the moon and discolor and disfigure the atmosphere. Okay, all right, that these people on earth breathe. Okay, so breathing is going to be a very hard thing to do in the day of the Lord, okay, because smoke and ash shall be everywhere. Okay, the sun is going to be blotted out. It shall become black as sackcloth of hair. The moon shall become as blood. Why? Because of the debris that's get caught up into the atmosphere. Okay, all right. And it says what? The heaven shall depart as a scroll when it is rolled together. Okay, talking about that mushroom cloud as you see. All right, a depiction of the detonation of a nuclear bomb or nuclear bombs. Okay, causes the atmosphere to roll together as it were a scroll, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. So a great earthquake so powerful that every mountain, every island were moved out of their places. Okay, all right. So the earth is going to shake violently. All right. The kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, right? And said unto the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Okay, terror. All right, shall seize upon the great men, the chief captains, the rich men, your elites, okay, even the mighty men, some of your military captains. They're going to hide themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains. And that's why I did a video on this not too long ago. You have what? The 1% building those bunkers for to prepare for Armageddon, right? So they're going to go down there to hide, man. Okay, to hide from the destruction, from the calamity that's coming. Okay, and it's gonna be such a bad destruction. They're gonna say mountains and rocks fall on us. Okay, not just hide us, but fall upon us. Okay, let it cave in on us so that we could just die here and not have to face the wrath of the Lamb. Okay, so that's how bad it's gonna be. All right, let's go to Joel chapter 2. Okay, because the scriptures talk about how the elect, that remnant, are going to be able to escape, okay, and shall be saved, all right, in the day of the Lord's wrath, that great and dreadful day of the Lord, right? So Joel chapter 2, all right, verse 30. And I will shew wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Okay, all right, which we're seeing those signs, those wonders in the earth and in the heavens. Okay, recently there was fire that came out of the sky. We brothers have seen chariots. Chariot sightings are becoming a thing so normal that it's being reported on the news. Okay, so-called UFOs, right? Okay, blood and fire and pillars of smoke, wildfires, all right, plaguing Australia, plaguing Africa, plaguing Siberia, okay, plaguing the Amazon, all right, plaguing the western portion of the United States, all right, plaguing even Alaska, right, and pillars of smoke, volcanic eruptions, right, all right, and even the missiles, right? The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood. All right, so solar eclipses and lunar eclipses before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. Okay, so that remnant that call upon the name of the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, all right. In Mount Zion and Jerusalem shall be delivered. Okay, all right, from the destruction to come, that great and terrible day of the Lord come. Okay, and Lord willing, that's us. We're gonna be looking down upon the sea of glass mingled with fire, as it says in the book of Revelation, man. All right, that sea of glass representing the outer atmosphere of the earth being mingled with that fire, okay, from the chariots and from the missiles. Okay, we're going to be looking down upon the destruction, as Isaiah 26 chapter said, come my people unto thy chambers, and shut thyself and shut the doors about thee, hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. Okay, so shoot, I want to go to let's go to that Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah Jeremiah 25, I believe it is. Well, yeah, let's go to Jeremiah 25. Why not? Jeremiah 25 and verse 30. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words. Okay, who's the them? The nations, the other nations, right? Because the Lord punished Israel, all right? And shall the other nations be utterly unpunished? No. All right, for the Lord shall call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord, man. So war, death, okay, famine, all right, destruction is coming upon all the inhabitants of the earth, okay. And say unto them, the Lord shall roar from on high and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation, and he shall give a shout as they that tread the grapes against the inhabitants of the earth, man. Okay, so the Lord is likening the inhabitants of the earth, okay, as grapes in a wine press to be tread and stomped out. Okay, and what is the blood of the grape? It's the wine. What is the what is that likened to? All right, what is that being compared to? The blood, okay, that's going to be spilled. All right, verse 31. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord hath a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh, and will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord. And what is the Lord's sword? All right, according to Isaiah 34, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right, Isaiah 34, I believe that's Isaiah 34, and want to make sure that's Isaiah 34 and 5. Okay, all right, and that sword being bathed in heaven shall cause the heavens to roll together as a scroll. Okay, all right, so that sword is described is the word sword is being used to describe a weapon that the Lord is going to cause to go up and to ascend into the atmosphere and come down upon the earth, particularly, specifically Idumea, Basra, which is America. Okay, and upon its arrival, it shall cause the heavens to roll together as a scroll. Okay, and that's the thermonuclear missiles. All right, and the Lord said that he shall plead with all flesh with the sword. Okay, all right, in Jeremiah and also in the book of Isaiah. So going back to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, right, verse 32. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth, and the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried, but they shall be as dung upon the ground. Okay, so those missiles are going to cause a lot of death. Okay, because that's what it's talking about. The evil going forth from nation to nation, and the great whirlwind shall be raised from the earth, from the coast of the earth, man. All right, it talks about the Lord bringing a sword in verse 31. So that whirlwind, okay, and that evil going forth from nation to nation is talking about those nuclear missiles being fired off from nation to nation, man. Okay, particularly from the west, all right, or from the east to the west. Okay, and even Babylon, man. America might shoot missiles upon these other nations, man, and you're gonna have these nations shooting missiles on each other. Okay, and it's gonna cause death to blanket the planet Earth. Death, okay, mass death. All right, and that's what we have the opportunity to escape. All right, as it says in 2nd Ezra, man, those that shall be able to escape by their works and by their faith wherein they have believed. Okay, all right, so the water Yahweh I'll shy for that opportunity to escape wrath through Yahweh Shai. So where else do I want to go? I want to go to, well, matter of fact, since I'm here already, Babylon's judgment in Revelation, the 18th chapter, right? Okay, so Babylon's destruction in Revelation, the 18th chapter, is part of the day of the Lord's wrath. Okay, all right, because Babylon is going to be that main seat, okay, of judgment. All right, Babylon is going to be where that great destruction mainly takes place, because Babylon is going to be utterly destroyed. Okay, so Revelation 18 and 1, right? It says, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, man. So the day of the Lord entails what? Mainly, okay, what the main thing is what? The destruction of Babylon the Great, okay, which is America. All right. And how do we know Babylon is America? One of the key clues in the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, it says that all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Okay. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, man. So Babylon, as it's described in verse 3 here, is a global hub of trade, commerce, okay, all right, and how all these other nations have been able to become rich, okay, which if you do a study on it, when you go into the word fornication in the Hebrew, it's often related to commerce and trade, okay. Now we understand that Babylon, America, is the hub of global trade. Okay, it is the hub. It is the center of global trade. All right, the U.S. dollar is the chief reserve currency of the world, right? And also it sets many trends across the globe. All right, as far as culture, okay, and art, music, and so on and so forth. Okay, all right, Babylon, America, okay. As I should say, Babylon, as it's read or written in Revelation 18, is described as that place, all right, that hub on planet Earth where everybody goes to, okay, and looks to, all right. And so Babylon is going to be judged, all right, for causing wickedness to spread in the earth. Okay, verse 4, it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heavens, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she hath rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works, and the cup which she hath filled to her double. Okay, all right. So another reason why Babylon is going to be destroyed is because of the sins of Babylon, mainly. All right, what America, all right, the wickedness that America has executed upon the Lord's people. Okay. And so Babylon is being rendered double according to her works. Okay, that wickedness that she had done to the Lord's people, and the Lord's going to cause or call for his remnant. All right, he's going to call for his remnant to come up out of Babylon, okay, to escape the judgment. All right, verse 7, it says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Okay. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Okay, so Babylon is also what? A chief consumer. Okay. All right. The merchants of the earth sell their goods to Babylon, and Babylon consumes them. All right. And that allows the merchants of the earth to become rich. OK. All right. But they're going to wail and lament for Babylon's destruction. Why? Because America was that cash cow. OK. America has its influence in all of the world's markets, man. Okay, so when America is destroyed, when Babylon is destroyed, even though these other nations are going to have part in destroying Babylon by shooting missiles upon it, okay, they're still going to mourn and lament for her because they were able to become rich, all right, by selling and dealing with Babylon, by fornicating with Babylon, okay, all right, by trading with Babylon, by being in league with Babylon at a certain point in time, man. Okay, so they're going to weep and lament and wail for her, man. Okay, and it says, in one day shall death, mourning, and famine come upon her, and she shall be utterly destroyed with fire. Okay, all right. So when America's destroyed, man, that's gonna really, you know, mess these heathens up in their head, man. Okay, they're gonna cry, they're gonna weep and lament. All right, they're gonna have sorrow. You know, I mean, it's gonna be indescribable, man. Very indescribable. Jeremiah 50 and and 46 says, "At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and a cry is heard among the nations." Okay, all right. So the earth is gonna be moved at the taking of Babylon. All right, the destruction is going to be so devastating that the earth is actually going to move. All right, but even the hearts of the people shall be moved and in distress, and they shall cry, okay, bitterly. All right, for the destruction of Babylon. Okay, all right. So let's go to Jeremiah 50 and 29. Okay, it says, "Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow. Camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done unto her, hath done, according to all that she hath done unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord God of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him." Okay, so Babylon is going to be utterly destroyed by fire. Okay, and what's going to bring that fire is the arrows, man. The archers shooting against Babylon round about, shooting their arrows upon Babylon. Okay, all right, as it says in Jeremiah 50 and 29. Okay, they shall bend the bow and shoot their arrows upon Babylon. Okay, all right, and those arrows are describing the nuclear missiles, man. Okay, all right, because back then they didn't have a word for missiles and nuclear hypersonic weapons, man. They could only use the terms that were familiar with to them, man. Okay, so they used the word arrow to describe the missiles that are going to come and destroy this place. Okay, all right. And as it says in verse 46, "At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and a cry is heard amongst the nations." Okay, so the other nations are going to weep and lament and mourn. Okay, they're going to wail and cry. All right, at the destruction of Babylon. Okay, even though, all right, they're going to be responsible for it. Okay, because they do want to go to war with Babylon. Okay, and want to take a victory over Babylon, but at the same time, all right, it's going to be detrimental, all right, to them. All right, it's going to be pretty much like them shooting themselves in the foot. They won't be able to make the money and the wealth that they were able to amass before. Okay, all right, because once Babylon is destroyed, all right, they won't have that hub to go to, that whore to go to deal with, to make great riches. All right, as it says in Revelation 18 and 11. All right, the merchants of the earth shall weep and lament and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Okay, all right, so even though they're going to be responsible, and the Lord's going to put that desire in their hearts to destroy Babylon, okay, they're still going to mourn when the action is done. Okay, why? Because because they're not going to be able to make their wealth anymore, their riches anymore. All right, they're not going to be able to wax rich through the abundance of Babylon's delicacies anymore. Okay, so shoot, I want to go to Second Esdras. Let's go to Second Esdras, because that goes into some of the destruction scriptures as well. Second Esdras chapter 13. All right, because the Lord is coming back to destroy the armies of the nations as well, man. All right, and that destruction of the armies is going to be so great that the Lord is going to call for the fowls of heaven to come and to feast upon the bodies, all right, of the dead soldiers and the dead captains, right? All right, tells you that in the book of Revelation. I believe it's the 19th chapter. Okay, all right, so let's go to Revelation 19 and verse. Well, actually, no, not Revelation 19. Let's go to Second Esdras. All right, chapter 13, verse 1. All right. And it says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. All right, talking about Yahushua coming back in that great chariot. Okay. All right. And he's coming back with the thousands of heaven. All right. And when he comes back, he's coming back with fire. Okay. Verse 5, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Talking about the chariot. But I would have seen the region or the place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Okay, so the chariot that Yahushua is going to be riding is going to be so big that you won't be able to see tell the beginning or the end of it. Okay, because of its great length and width. All right, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they that were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. All right, because the Lord's going to put the spirit upon them to fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, okay, because the other nations, all right, when Yahushua comes back, the other nations going to be fighting war in the Middle East against one another, man. All right. But when Yahushua comes in those clouds, man, in those chariots, they're going to turn their attention to fight against him. OK. All right. They're going to be afraid. All right. But the Lord's going to put the spirit upon them to fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his mouth he cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude there was nothing to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Okay, so upon a sudden, all right, the Lord is going to turn that innumerable multitude of captains and warriors and that great violent multitude of the other nations that are going to come and fight against the Lord. All right, upon a sudden, he shall turn them into smoke. All right, by by setting them on fire. Okay, all right, the fire of the chariots, man, the laser beam zapping them, man. Okay, turning them into smoke and dust. Okay, it's going to be so much death. All right, because the Lord said that he's going to tread the wine press of the wrath of the Almighty God. All right, it's going to be so much death. All right, that the Lord is going to call for the fowls of the heavens. Revelation 19 and 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. Okay, so there's going to be so much death on earth that the Lord's going to have to call for the fowls of heaven to clean up the mess. Okay, come feast upon these dead bodies. Okay. All right, that's what's coming to the earth, man. That's what the day of the Lord is going to be like for the inhabitants of the earth, man, which is why the Lord got to deliver us in them chariots, because we don't want to have to go through that, you know. And Lord willing, the Lord keep his spirit upon us so that we can be saved from the wrath to come, man. I'm going to close out with this second Ezra chapter 16. All right. And I'm just going to close out with this, man. Okay, Revelation chapter, I keep saying Revelation, second Ezra chapter 16 and second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 1. It says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? That sword being the missiles. A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? And plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May a man drive away an hungry lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? Okay, that's talking about the missiles, man. They're going to come so hard and fast with such great destruction that nobody's going to be able to do anything about it. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? This is of the Lord. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? Okay, all right, because the Lord's coming back in them chariots, and the chariots are going to cause destruction. They're going to shoot out energy beams and blasts like lightning and thunder. Okay, all right, and shall utterly beat men to powder. All right, verse 11, the Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with the waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. Okay, so the presence of the chariots and of the Lord, okay, and also the missiles detonating is going to cause such great earthquake upon the earth, okay, that the waves of the sea shall be troubled. All right, great tidal waves and tsunamis, all right, shall erupt, all right, from the oceans and the sea. The fowls of the heaven, the fishes of the sea are troubled. They're gonna be a lot of death of animals, man. All right, entire ecosystems are gonna be devastated. Okay, all right. Verse 13, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they shall begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Okay, and those arrows are talking about the missiles, man. All right, they shall be shot from the end of the earth, man. That's talking about those nuclear missiles that can go from one continent to another. That's why they're called intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward. Even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? Okay, and that's Ezra's talking. That's how terrible it is, man. The day of the Lord, the great and dreadful and terrible day of the Lord. All right, that the man of the Lord, Ezra, the prophet of the Lord, said, woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days, man? Okay, who shall deliver me, and what shall I do when those evils shall come? Okay, all right, so that's encouragement to keep us on the path that we're on, man. But also, this is just a cut to Christianity and all those that think the Lord's coming back to play patty cake with them, man. No, the Lord's coming back to bring great death and destruction upon the earth, okay, and establish his kingdom right after, okay? All right, so with that being said, Lord, one of this video was edifying. I just, wrote some precepts down. It was something that, was on my mind. And so the Lord, had me do it through the Spirit. All praise to Yahweh Shemel Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone. Citations to all the Akim out there pushing the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash in truth and sincerity. Yahweh Shemel Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Barakatham to you all. With that, I want to say Shalom. Shalom.